Greetings, my friend. Welcome to the secret shop.
Hello and welcome to the Secret Shop podcast. I'm your host Simon, and with me, as always, is Anger. Hello.
Hello, it's popping.
All sorts of things with Kiwi and I. Kiwi, how have you been doing?
I've been better. I've had back-to-back ear infections, which were pretty miserable, but just coming off the end of that.
That's rough. On my end, it's been lung problems mostly, and I actually managed to somehow pinch a nerve on my hand, the one that controls the pinky and the ring finger. Don't know how I did that. Apparently, I did it in my sleep. So, about to hit 30, and my body just decides to shut down. Apparently, so.
You're an old man now.
An old man, seriously. I'm boomering up. I'm hating Fortnite with every passing day, more and more. That's what it is.
I think we're unified on that here, aren't we?
Yeah, we're all boomers.
Right. Sad. Anyways, what's not sad is the beta, because there has been tons of progress with it. Even though some people would like it to be even faster, Constructed Q has been released. So what were your experiences with that so far? Anger, I know that you have been streaming the game way more recently.
Yeah, I really like the matchmaking. It makes it so that you don't have to pay attention to constructed chats to find a game. You can just search. Although it does take a while to find a game sometimes, or you just get stuck playing with the same person over and over again.
Right.
So it's still not perfect, but it's way better than it was.
Yeah. And they did do changes to that already as well. Like, they started out only pairing people who had a similar unlock ratio, because you actually did have to unlock your cards for Constructed at first. They have recently removed that, so everyone can just jump in and skip the grind of a couple days.
Yeah.
Kiwi, what were your experiences with Constructed, and what was your reaction when some cards were locked to some people?
I honestly still haven't played for a while. I took a break for a bit. Still not much interest in Constructed for me, though.
Right.
Like, when card balancing and changes are up in the air, I don't have as much interest in Constructed, more so when things become more stable. But for me, more so, it was that Constructed matchmaking is linked with draft matchmaking. I really think they're two separate, they're two separate skill sets, and so mixing them, I'm quite competent in draft and not very competent in Constructed, and I would like to be matched against other incompetent Constructed players. So for me, having those be in the same, I understand that it's there because there's not many people playing right now, but I really dislike that, and I feel like it would bother other people too. So I'm holding off on that for now.
Yeah.
The unlocking is interesting because many Constructed players feel that they want to just get in and play with all the best cards right away, and so they don't get the enjoyment out of unlocking new cards. And it's kind of weird because a lot of the player base right now is people that have played before, and so they have a good understanding of most of the cards. Whereas the design is more for new people, where you start with basic cards and then you're unlocking some, and so then you get to go back and forth and update your decks with the newer cards as you unlock them. And I think it's a really good system for new players. But for people that already know all the cards, the unlock factor seems to be a frustration for many Constructed players. And so them moving away from that, I think, was necessary, but it's also kind of weird. I don't know. It's an interesting spot where there wasn't a perfect solution for it, I think.
I think that it was necessary to remove for this phase of the beta at least, where everyone just wants to jump in and test the best decks they can make.
For sure.
You know, they want to have fun with it, of course. But I do feel like there will have to be some sort of progression when 2.0 releases.
I think that's a good point. Having it everything unlocked now versus progression later makes sense. I personally really enjoyed the progression of unlocking the cards, even when I knew them all. And I don't think it's too slow. Like, I think the people that say, oh, it's so much of a grind, it shouldn't be a grind. You should be playing with weaker cards and then you're unlocking more. Like, it's different aspects of the game, but people just want to jump the gun. I don't know. It seems weird to me because compared to other card games, like either you have to spend $300 on an expansion buying the cards, or you grind them through a free-to-play manner, but having them all given to you over 10 hours or something, or 20, or however many it was, didn't seem unreasonable to me in the slightest.
Yeah, I didn't think the grind was too long. Like, did it take you a very long time, Anger?
No, or it took a medium amount of time, which I think was perfect for learning all the cards. Like,
Right.
I love that I could play the draft thing and like learn the cards properly while unlocking them, getting comfortable playing with them before like starting to build decks, you know?
Yeah.
I'm much more
And we were...
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. I was just going to say we were already somewhat familiar with them as well.
Yeah. But like
And
even
we'd
then,
gone and analyzed them.
like I learn much better from like practically using things and seeing how they work rather than just reading through it, you know?
Yeah.
And I think
that's
for people like that, it's really good.
I think that's a really good point, that lots of the cards, their strengths are unintuitive. And so by playing with cards that you wouldn't initially put in your decks, you realize the different strengths of them. And so then deck building becomes more variable and such as a result of that. And so I think that's a really important aspect of the game, and people that are trying to skip out on that are going to miss out on things.
Yeah.
But based on the subreddit, it was really frustrating for a lot of people and they hate it. So
Oh, they get frustrated and hate everything. You can't fucking please them.
yeah,
It is hard.
that's how I feel.
Yeah. I mean that what you just said, Kiwi, is another reason why Hero Draft is such a good mode for new players. You get like this semi-random deck, because it does try to synergize a little bit, right? But you get the semi-random deck, and you can try out new combinations with the new cards that you just unlocked, combined with whatever the other player has in his collection. I really think that Hero Draft is a great strength of the, you know, progression of the new player experience of 2.0. But let's look back to 1.0 for a second, because we are talking about progression, which is something that people were sorely missing in 1.0. I remember a lot of people saying that progression is very much needed for a large part of any player base that needs to have these little goals to work towards. If everything is unlocked from the very beginning, sure, there's this type of player who will jump in straight away and build their decks because they're sort of proficient at that. But new players and those who are jumping into the genre or just trying to get into the game, they certainly appreciate a slow burn. And especially getting those packs to open up. I mean, packs are such a integral rush of the genre. And we already know that they won't be selling them. So this progression is the only way for a lot of people to actually experience that opening rush of the pack.
It was so
There's a
boring
countdown.
though, opening the packs. It was a nightmare. Because you have to open it and then you have to drag your mouse over all of them and then go next.
I never opened any packs in Artifact. I used them all in Keeper Draft.
Oh.
Right. But once again, a lot of people enjoy the slow
Yeah, do you
reveal.
remember all the YouTubers at first made videos? Open the pack and then 1, talk about it for 10 minutes. 2, talk about it for 10 minutes. 3, talk about it for 10 minutes.
But
Oh
guess
my
what?
god, it
Those
was
videos-
insufferable.
But guess what? Those videos had a lot of views. You're just one of those dislikes.
I actually never dislike videos. I never do it. Never ever. I've never disliked, or I might have once or twice disliked a video on YouTube for some reason, but
Do you
99%
remember?
of it. I remember having done it once, but I can't remember what the video was. But it's I respect YouTubers. I think a lot of people underestimate how much a dislike can matter to the person making the video.
Don't dislike Angus' videos, guys. It makes us sad. Makes us sad. She would never do this to you. Meanwhile, I've been enjoying Constructed a lot. And I must admit, like, I've been defending the progression in some way, or at least I'm defending the concept of progression. The way that things were unlocked right now certainly lacked variety, because once you're through the campaign, you really only had hero draft until now to unlock things. So, of course that was a grind to people, so a lot of them went quickly by the old road. Are you guys aware of what I'm referring to?
No.
There is a mission in the tutorial called Quickly by the Old Road, which is the mission where you're supposed to kill those 3 red scouts.
So people are grinding it.
Yeah, because the XP reward is repeatable, and that is the quickest mission.
So they get to the highest level that way?
Yeah, within a day, within a couple hours, you can just spam that. You were able to just spam that mission and just get
What's the
to where
highest
you wanted
level?
to be. You unlock everything at the highest I don't know, but you unlock everything at around 40 or 42.
So the fact that people feel the need to do this shows that there's some flaw with the system.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And like you're always going to have outliers of people who have different goals in the game than the majority of people, but like that group of people is also important.
Yeah.
And so I don't know.
I'm
weird.
sure that little exploit, or whatever you would call it, that little shortcut, was one of the big reasons why Valve removed the grind for now. Because when you have people mind-numbingly repeating the same 3-minute mission over and over again for a couple hours rather than just play your game, you certainly did something wrong with your progression system.
Yeah.
I really can't relate to those people though. Like I don't understand why they wouldn't just play with the other cards. Like why is playing with I don't know. Like when
I just got beat
like-
by Tidehunter and he's OP and that's why I need that card. No!
Like I don't play Magic the Gathering, but then sometimes I'll hang out with friends that do, and they'll have like really bad decks, right? But they'll have 5 of them that are all of equal strength, and then you just play with terrible cards. But if the decks are all balanced and equal, then like I don't know, it's just a different factor of the game. If you're not playing with the highest cards, does that mean you shouldn't be playing at all? Like I'm
Pauper exists. There are Pauper
that
players and they
exactly that
enjoy
sort of
their
things.
lives.
And I really liked when we started delving into that area of Constructed with like different sets of rules and just making up metas based on weird restrictions.
Yeah.
And that's where I have a lot more interest in Constructed, because I guess sort of because it's what I like draft.
I think variety was one of the greatest flaws of the current progression system. Just not being able, like, just need more modes and other things. I don't know. Like, I'm not really sure what those people expect out of a progression system. Just as I don't understand other people who minded so much that they would rather just beat their head against the wall 10 times every hour. So interesting. We can't really relate to either side completely.
Did either of you play in Nine's tournament?
I
Or
didn't
watch
even
it?
realize it was happening. I don't know how I
shame on
missed
you.
it.
I did not play in it, but I watched most of it, and I'm the one who advertised it one last time on the subreddit and so on. So shout out to Nine and the Long Haul guys to their constructed tournament, which was a full success. He got lots of views. I think there were like almost at 80 viewers at one point.
Ooh.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That is pretty.
Wasn't it? It was
good.
really interesting because I heard Mono Green won.
It
Yeah,
is.
Jay Mahler won.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Jay Mauler for his impressive performance with that mono
So-
green deck.
Because I felt like
I-
Mono Green is the weakest of the monos in Constructed.
I'm not too surprised. I played against Jay Mahler's green decks a couple times when I played Constructed, and from what I know of, he's been playing super consistently, and in Artifact 1, he very much limited himself by only playing mono green, but made some really interesting choices with it and is clearly a strong player, and then so I wasn't surprised by the outcome at all. But I was happy that he won a tournament.
Yeah. And his deck certainly got buffed just a day or two beforehand when a new card was added to the game, which is the Ramuscu Choir. The one that gets buffed every time a unit gets healed in the lane. It can get quite powerful. It is kind of hard to set up. It didn't always work. It didn't always become powerful, but it is certainly a threat that you have to respond to, especially with Jay Mauler's deck that has several ways of healing units within a turn.
Playing against his list is the most obnoxious shit. It's just a wall in every lane. It's so miserable.
Yeah. And then the other win condition with the Spear of Solar Khan. He won one of the games. I believe it was the final game that he won that way. Or was it not? No, it wasn't. But it was
Yeah,
very...
I saw his item deck was really interesting.
Yeah. Oh, there were several very interesting decks. There was one that was all about revealing the hand and destroying any strong cards or making them more expensive. It didn't get that far, sadly, but it was certainly fun to watch. And I cannot imagine the frustration of playing against it, which is why I copied it. Oh yeah,
Can't beat him, join him.
This tournament was a net.
You just love
dream for
obnoxious
sure.
decks.
I do love obnoxious decks.
I bet you play Takis and Dota.
I do
No,
not.
that's me.
Ooh, wow. Yeah, no, but the most complete way of winning is destroying all 3 towers at once, Anger. And that only happens when they give up. That only happens when they rage quit. So that is the most complete win that you can have in this game, FYI. So, there have been patches every week. I'm personally satisfied with the current pace of the beta, especially because the devs are communicating with us when it comes to what's up next. And they already said they're working on the tutorials right now, but they also agree that draft is going to come up at some point fairly soon as well. Because they know there's like a huge part of the player base that is just waiting for regular draft or some in between. And I'm sure you count yourself as one of them, Kiwi.
Yeah, I'm kind of in a weird place. I was in a bit of a funk, so I took a break, and then I haven't gone back. And I've been trying to figure out why precisely, because I mean, I love Artifact and I want to play Artifact, but I I want to play a game that there's community interest in and that other people are enjoying playing. And so, like, as you said, the patches have been good. They've had good direction and good balance with them, and they've been regular and fairly big. And so I think that's all good, but there's still a lack of community interest, which is really frustrating at the moment. And so I've just taken a step back and I'm waiting for a bit. I think part of it is that there's a lot of people waiting for polish or like some sort of
ton of people
jump where a lot of people come back at once. And so, but it's just weird when that will be. It's also really odd at the moment because I maybe mentioned this before, but before 2.0 was announced, we had our small community and we were playing daily tournaments 3 times a day and having month-end tournaments every month consistently, and there was community. And then when 2.0 got announced, people stopped playing 1.0, and then the tournament system isn't set up yet in the client, so we don't have this daily community, and it's really weird that we're supposed to be closer to having the game back, and yet we actually have less than what we had before. And so that, for me, that's really hurting it a lot. And I'm not sure if other people realize this, or like they whatever, the devs have said that's the next thing they're working on, right? They put their goals of what to focus on, and we submitted our feedback about that, and it'll come out when it happens. But I feel like a lot of people are kind of just in limbo around it, and that's a large factor in it. And so, yeah, it's just weird. I've just been playing Dota, but I miss Artifact.
I think a lot of people feel like you, because with Constructed Queue also came a massive wave of invites, because they finally allowed everyone who signed up for the beta to gain access to it, which resulted in an influx of feedback, much of it very negative. There were a lot of people coming back with arguments and anecdotes from literally 2 years ago, from 1.0, and bringing back the usual arguments of it was just the business model, we just needed more cards, and the new one is either too casual or too complicated, or both at once. And I think
you just can't
a lot
please
of
them.
yeah, well,
There's so much criticism, and it's really hard to be around.
Yeah,
It's just
so
frustrating.
toxic.
right. I'm trying to we have to take criticism seriously whenever it is properly, constructive feedback. There was a lot of it that was not. But I think this is also a reason why Valve is working on the tutorials. There was this line in one of their recent updates where they said that they are gathering data throughout the beta, and it has given them a much better idea of what concepts they need a more detailed introduction for. To me, that line sounds like a lot of you guys haven't realized the mechanics that there are in this version of the game.
It was like their old comment about initiative cards.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For example, that. But thankfully, a lot of people have realized some of that depth. There was a great post by Dr. Quint about what the creep slot is all about, and what it does to your lane, and what it does to your economics, to your gold, and which heroes are natural creep slots or farming slots heroes, and so on. I think there is a lot still to realize about this version of the game.
I don't know, everybody has their own input on what needs to change. And it's kind of like I don't think any one thing is going to bring interest or not. Like
Right.
it's hard to know when, like, where's the line? What's gonna interest people or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot
It's
of
in a weird
people-
spot at the moment.
It is. Yeah. A lot of people, for example, are lamenting low impact turns or how it is boring to just move heroes around. And then there's another group again that is basically asking for heroes to be able to always move one spot every round. Like it is very clear that we are once again, yes, it is very clear that we are once again at this crossroads of player bases, basically. Where some people want a very tactical game where you move pieces around more like chess. We mentioned this before. And then there's others who want that aspect of the game to be toned down a bit and focused more on cards. And the devs will probably have to make a decision which will displease one of these groups.
I think it needs to happen, though. I think they need to make polarizing decisions
Yeah.
and make a niche game that one group very much likes. Because there's, like, my fear is that they try and make it too much like other card games that are successful. And then what makes it unique, right?
Yeah.
That's, yeah, I think they're very much trying to please many people, and that's making it a lot harder.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I like Artifact 1, I like Artifact 2. If there was a player base, I would be enthusiastic to play either of them.
Yeah.
And yet, we don't have that. So I'm kind of... I feel like my opinion's useless on the matter because I'm not the one that's having issues.
Yeah. I feel the same because as much as we are talking like analytically about criticism and what weaknesses there may be, I would never go back to 1.0. I gotta tell you, I don't think I could. Like that's the thing, right? We have to at least acknowledge, like we have to at least acknowledge, at least me personally, that 2.0 is already a much better game than 1.0 to me.
I would say that for sure.
I enjoy playing it way more. I get frustrated way less. I feel like losses are my fault way more, and I can pinpoint much better where my misplays were.
Yeah.
The nostalgia factor of 1.0 is still there, but like we played, I think Sneaky had a tournament in 1.0 that we played, and there were so many aspects that felt terrible compared to 2.0 that they really did solve so many things. And this gets overlooked a lot when people are describing things they like or dislike about 2.0. Like when you compare them, they're not comparable. And yeah, I'm also guilty of not realizing that enough.
A lot of the criticism came from people who hadn't looked at Artifact in like 1.5 years, only to say how great that version of the game was that they haven't played in a year. Like I'm not trying to put everyone like label everyone or say, oh, it's this group of people. I'm not trying to speak in absolutes here. Just giving my take on the criticism that we did see. There was a lot of good criticism as well. But, for example, when it comes to balance, but the devs were very quick in responding to that. Like, Tide was nerfed and Storm Spirit were nerfed just in time for the Constructed tournament, which led to some very nice, tight games. I really enjoyed watching those.
Have you two played with any of the new heroes?
Yeah, Troll Warlord. I love him. I love him so much.
Isn't your Discord portrait Troll Warlord?
Yeah, it is.
Isn't that just like the embodiment of anger?
Perfect.
I love him in Dota 2. I go mid with Troll Warlord. I love him in Underlords. I always loved the Troll Alliance. And now in Artifact as well, I can play my boy.
Fantastic.
Yeah, very happy.
He truly is the Reddit hero.
Wait, no! Calling something a Reddit something isn't with negative
Yeah, I
connotation.
don't think that's a
You
good
don't-
thing.
You're not allowed to call Troll Warlord the Reddit hero. No!
Why
I do not
am
consent to
always
that.
so mad?
What about
I will actually get
Abaddon
angry.
or Mazzy?
I haven't played Abaddon or
Mazzy's spells
Mazzy.
look really cool. Have you played against it?
No, nobody plays them.
I have.
Oh, you have?
I think Abaddon is a very interesting hero as well. I find it interesting, like you still have to activate Borrowed Time, his ultimate from Dota 2, which turns any damage that he takes into healing. Because it's really, as of now, it just seems like a preventative cast, a little bit like Spiked Carapace, like where it prevents damage and he heals instead. However, it does synergize with his signature card, Mist Coil, because it damages the caster and can, either heal or damage something else. So he can basically double up on that and hurt/heal himself. So, well, there is that. But I sort of
He's
wish
still
there
a green
was-
card.
What?
He's still a green card.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
Not particularly exciting, and nobody's gonna play it.
Yeah.
And
it
why
doesn't
is
fit
that?
with green.
Oh, I think that's just public mindset. Is that green is not as flashy. Build a wall.
And also, Abaddon doesn't really fit with the green playstyle that much.
Yeah, I was having trouble imagining how I would use him. Even
But
in
he doesn't
draft.
build the wall in any way.
Yeah, but he does heal. He has that going for him.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. That's some synergy with the choir.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, double synergy with the choir. Because isn't the
yeah.
choir every target that's healed? Or maybe every time?
Yeah,
know.
I believe that would trigger it twice, right? Would have to
Anyway.
look that up again. That still seems a little awkward, Borrowed Time does. I do miss his Aphotic Shield. I miss the Purge.
Yeah.
But I guess that went to Omni Knight.
And what about Mazzy? The Mazer spells look
I don't
cool.
even know what he does. I know that he has 3 different spells, but I don't know what they do.
They're just different items, aren't they?
Yeah. It is super weird. He is still an experimental hero, meaning he's not in like hero draft or anything. The thing is that because Mazzy is an artifact original, they can go much more crazy with him than any other hero from Dota or something, where they have to, adapt the hero identity. Meanwhile, Mazzy, they can go crazy, and he has this Gearhead passive, where he does not require item slots to equip items. You can just keep equipping him with items, and it keeps buffing him.
But sometimes you want to bounce an item so you can use it on a different hero. How does that work with Messi?
It doesn't, I believe.
So you can't bounce item on him?
I don't think so, because it doesn't use the item slot. And much like Lena, he has 3 different signature cards, which are still being worked on and were very buggy. So I'm sure that will get changed a lot before it gets implemented. But I am very excited for Messi being such a wild card.
Cool.
Yeah, it just opens up a lot of design space for future heroes as well. that they're already, breaking game rules by saying like, nope, item slots don't really work the same way on this one. I think that is very interesting and opens up a lot for the future.
Yeah.
Alright then, as we put our foot out the door, I would like to give a little shout out to our East European friends, because they get the biggest views on Twitch. Like, I have seen some Russian streamers reach over 100 viewers playing Artifact. And I think that is very impressive with where the game is and where the interest is right now. So that is amazing. We already gave a shout out to Nine and his tournament, as well as J Mauler. Is there anybody you guys would like to give a shout out to?
Nope.
Well, then I'll... No? Alright then.
No.
In that case, I'll mention Mega Rami, our producer. You can find her at Mega Rami on Twitter and give her a little bit of love. How about that? Anger, where can people find your videos? You've been uploading more consistently, haven't you?
Yeah, I try to strive for once a week nowadays.
Right, and you've been streaming way more. Where can people find your stuff?
YouTube.com/angermania, Twitch.com/anger_.
Awesome. And KIWI, are you going to return to streaming anytime soon?
I streamed yesterday for the first
Oh,
time
hell
in a
yeah.
few months. I've been climbing in Dota, so we're gonna try and hit Immortal. So hopefully I'll be streaming that. Twitch/Kiwi_streaming. And in theory I'll be back to Artifact when in the future.
Awesome. Meanwhile, I am extremely depressed about Dota. I am just going to hell. I'm going downstream. I'm just down ranking all over the place. I doubled down too many times. And it's not good. Like, it's embarrassing. I don't even want to share. I don't even want to tell you where I'm at right now. It is genuinely
We've all been
embarrassing.
You're
there
1K
before.
gang?
I've been playing this game for a decade, and I wasn't this slow when I started playing it.
Are you 1K? Can you tell me that?
Anger, don't poke him.
Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Not on camera. It hurts too much.
It's
It
okay,
hurts
it's
too
okay.
much. So I will keep it ambiguous and keep it to all the people who can read me. Anyways, thank you so much for listening, everyone. Goodbye.
Peace.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you for your business. Come again!